Children's novel is about mathematics primarily, and it started with the concern of maths in India and I guess across the world, but it's primarily situated in India. So, you know, the hullabaloo that we have for mathematics, how parents and teachers and generally everyone is pushing children to do well in maths and science, to get better grades, and that creates so much pressure that children end up committing suicide. But it's not a grave story. The story is talking about the issue, why is maths so difficult, or is it really difficult? So we've used, I mean, I say we because it's a commission project. I've used a fantasy creature called Miss M, and she comes from this planet called Shunya Lok, and she comes into children's dreams and helps them make maths fun. But that's basically the overview, and then it goes into detail about the story of 4 children and what happens to them and how Miss M is part of their lives. And then it becomes a global issue where India is accused of using paranormal and black magic to excel in maths and become the world superpower. And then the whole world gets involved, and then the galaxies and the cosmos gets involved. So there's a lot of fantasy in it, but all of that is an attempt to try and focus on why maths is so difficult, or why is it really difficult. So that's what it's all about. Frankly, it was a student of mine who attended a creative writing workshop in 2009, and he asked me if I'd like to write this. So he gave me an outline of it, but the rest of it I created. He wanted me to work on children and maths and this problem. But then I came up with a character and I said, no, this cannot be just one individual story. It has to have 4 or 5 kids in it. It has to be big enough to draw the attention of the whole planet. So that's how it really began. I'll be giving out a lot, but all I can say is about one character is a girl, and she's supposed to play with dolls and all, but she's not interested in dolls. She is interested in opening up machines and toys and fixing and refixing them, and her mind works mathematically. But in theory, she can't put it into practice. So for example, if you give her a problem to solve on paper, it's very difficult for her. But if you give her a machine, she'll just open and refix it and make something new out of it. So she's into practical maths. So that's one character. And then one is a tribal boy who's excellent in maths and has to take part in a maths marathon in the city and doesn't have the funds to travel. So how he creates a revolution and makes 2,000 children join him to help him complete the journey of 3 days to reach the city and take part in the maths marathon. Of course, because I personally was not good in algebra. I passed because I was good in geometry, so it added up. But I did interview a lot of kids, teachers, professors, scholars, what they all had to say. And at the bottom of it, my understanding is, and then I'm a little bit of a psychologist also, so I guess all writers are. And I thought that problem is not with the subject, it's how it is taught and the approach towards it. And this whole scare and the fear created around it, that makes it difficult. So I've tried to highlight that in different ways. Of course, all of it is focusing on what the issue is, so what parents need to do, or teachers need to do, or society needs to do to work on that issue. Though she's an outsider, why I've taken this character is because she's an outsider, and an outsider can enlist a problem, outline a problem much better than people inside it. So, and it goes on to issues, at the end it goes on to the issues of what have we done with our planet. So there is some kind of message, but it's not focused on that message, that we're really destroying the planet. Primarily the stress that is created around the subject, that's the main issue. In all the 4 or 5 stories, and in general whatever research I've done, the bottom of it is the stress that is created around the issue that makes it difficult. And maths is something that you get the concept correct, then you can solve anything. But when the basic ABC is not correct, it's like if you learn the alphabets wrong, you can't write the language. Similarly, if you get the concepts of maths incorrect, you can't go ahead from that. So the teaching of it is where the problem is. Actually 3 years, I just finished it this summer.